All right, welcome. Today we are going to demonstrate a pretty quick and efficient way of removing spray paint from metal parts, specifically gunmetal parts, rattle can spray on. There's some Krylon and Rust-Oleum camo paints on this Ruger 1022 barrel and receiver and this M92 AK stock and receiver. The preferred method I like is Citrus Strip paint and varnish stripping remover. It's kind of a gel in an aerosol form. You do want to be careful not to get this on your skin, and you do want to be careful, do not put this on anything that is a lens or anything that's polymer. I find this works for metal only. It can really damage most polymers. So as you see, I have pre-prepped these by taking all of the polymer components off of these weapons. The Ruger receiver, you'll see I have some blue painter's tape on the bottom of the polymer portion of the trigger guard, and given that I don't need to really saturate this part of the receiver that's not painted, I can just get the gel up here on the top part. You can kind of cover that polymer there, and that blue painter's tape will protect the gel from getting into the polymer parts and damaging them. But that's the prep you need to do. Just get them down to all metal, pretty standard disassembly. Next we'll step outside. They say it's safe for indoor usage and there's not a lot of fumes, but it says no harsh fumes, but there's definitely some fumage. I would recommend doing it outside if you can, in sunlight that gives you the best picture. But we'll move outside and I'll apply a liberal coat of this to these components, and then we let them sit for 10 to 15 minutes. I tend to err on the 15-minute side, and then after 15 minutes we'll use some hose and some water, and that water pressure will blast that paint off, and then we'll go over how we re-oil and take care of the guns after that. So next step will be outside. Okay. All right, so first up, the AK stock. Give us a little shake to get it uniform. You want to watch your angle of your can to have good spray. Same principle as if you're actually painting. But you see it kind of bubbles up, and when you see that gel kind of form and bubble up on the paint, and you get a little discoloration, you know that it's probably doing its job. So try to give a decent liberal amount. Try to keep my hand and my wrists out of the way of getting this on skin contact. But and the key is getting it to bubble and gel form on all the surfaces where there are paint, and we'll show you the cleanup with acetone for the areas that it doesn't get 100%. All right, next with the AK receiver, kind of start front to back. Not a lot to say when applying. Just apply it liberally, and when the paint's more caked on, add more gel. Last two components. No, it's Citrus Strip. And that's the thing about Citrus Strip. It's not really it's apparently some form of natural stripper. I don't think any chemical is all natural, but this is the benefit of this citrus stuff is it's supposed to not leave any residual, and it's not bad for metal surfaces. So that's it. We'll let it clock run for 15 minutes, and we'll spray them off. You told me to do it, man. I'm like, I was fucking kidding. It's like a death spot. It's not a real thing. Yeah. It was so convincing. Oh, most underrated movies of all time. The other guys?
Is that not a real thing?
What's that?
It's not a real thing?
No, I've wanted to. There's people above me and units I didn't care for. Oh, I'm so sorry.
The
Testicle.
investigator seems so nice.
That's fucking great. But yeah, this shit looks like it's cooking pretty good, man. We get just a few more minutes. We'll do
That's like almost all the way peeled off.
Yeah, I'm thinking it's about the sweet spot of where we can, in the order we started. Yeah. So, all right, you live?
Yeah.
All right, we gotta go with those now. So, sorry, you want to relocate? We'll. Okay, it may seem counterintuitive to add water to anything gun related. I'm a huge proponent of not using WD-40. However, it is the cleanest, simplest, and easiest way to get some pressure and to truly get all this stripper and get the varnish stripper off. But as you can see, the paint's bubbling, has basically almost peeled off itself. You can see some of the paint residue coming off of my glove as I touch it. So I just go ahead and I use kind of like a center flat. You'll notice it's never 100%. There are always little pesky areas, but we'll clean up the rest with some acetone relatively quickly. And as you can see, some moisture. Oh, I hit the little back end there. I'm gonna just get that. Again, try not to get yourself soaked while doing this, but part of the process. But as you can see, pretty damn clean. A little bit there on the back end that I missed spraying for the most part, but a little bit of acetone and nylon brushwork will get this back to factory perfect, brand new. So don't be afraid to spray paint metal parts. Very easy to take off. A little more complex part, a little more crevices. But with the venerable AK-47, allegedly the most rugged and durable combat weapon ever, if it can't deal with a little bit of water, what are we doing? And this is not a Draco. This is a Zastava M92, and this is an SBR. So this one can be a little stubborn, so I've had multiple layers on there. You can see I used to do a honeycomb pattern when I first started painting. It's still there, so I'm going to brush this off with a towel, get most of this off, and then I'll add a little bit more gel, let it cook for a little more just to get the majority of that off. But so anytime there's like you get moisture in these like metal mechanisms, I like to apply a little of this Hobbyist Gun Medic. It comes out with a really high pressure spray, and it's got cleaner and lubricant mixed in, and it's a degreaser, so it kind of helps displace that water and gives you a little bit of oil on those surfaces. Dry them off with the towel first, and then add the gun scrubber, and this stuff does kind of evaporate. So not only, but you're getting a clean. Another thing I'll do is I'll take just some isopropyl alcohol in the trigger mechanisms, and I'll just spray the alcohol into the trigger mechanism, and that helps displace any of that moisture and get some of the water off those steel parts. So again, we're all about avoiding corrosion anytime we apply any water to any firearms part. Okay, so we'll move over to the bench here to finish cleaning up this barrel. I've wiped it down dry of any water just with a shop rag, with a towel. Nothing special. Pardon the Sig Sauer mats. They just have like a kind of a plastic topping that prevent acetone or oil or anything from seeping into the bench. But yeah, there's no 320s here, so don't.
No firing pin, so the mat shouldn't go off.
Right. Yeah, there's not loaded, no firing pin, and it's it's unloaded in a holster as Sig recommends. So at any rate. So we're going to go ahead and I use just standard acetone you get from Lowe's or Home Depot, $10 from Lowe's. Little dollar store, Dollar Tree hairspray bottle thing. I pour the acetone into here. This is held up for several weeks. The acetone does not seem to eat the plastic straw that goes down the inside of this. Seems to hold up pretty well, but this just gives you a little bit of have it a little bit more in stream mode. But I just spray it on like that, a nice coating. Just a polymer brush. I try not to mix my cleaning brushes with my paint brushes. Keep them separate, but just a gun cleaning polymer brush, and as you can see, that begins eating away at the paint at the residual that's left. And then same thing, take a shop rag, wipe away that acetone. You'll see that it can appear to discolor the metal, but acetone it removes moisture, and in any porous metal on any finish, it will remove. It kind of gives like a light, like a discoloring as it takes the moisture and oils out of the metal. So kind of like when you're cleaning a gun with a gun cleaner or a gun degreaser, when you're done with the acetone, you want to apply oil relatively quickly to kind of resaturate the porous metal with that oil, and it does kind of give it almost like a brand new deep black look. You can let the oil soak in. I just use Slip 2000 for that. So it's got a good viscosity that kind of a good do-all oil. Attention to detail. You got to get in any little crinks and crevices. Sometimes if you let the acetone sit for at least a few seconds. The thing with acetone though is it does evaporate relatively quickly. Fumes aren't too bad, but I have a fan blowing if you're inside a shop here. But as you can see, it kind of, the color change and it kind of evaporate, and you can see the paint texture kind of change. It's doing its thing. So then you come in with the brush, and that's allowed it to, I use the term cook, as it kind of does its chemical reaction and gets that paint off. Always using a rag, and you'll notice the rag sometimes picks up little snippets of paint. So take that and shake it off. You want to kind of use cleaner portions of rags as you go. You can also sub paper towels for the wipe off portion if you really care. It's all about how clean and how detail oriented you want to be with it. But you'll notice if I had to do this portion over this entire barrel, it would have taken an exponential amount of time longer than using that stripper. So you want to use the vinyl stripper to start. Unfortunately, I haven't found any type of stripper that's spray on. All the stuff like the Goo Gone graffiti remover. The only thing I'm really comfortable using on polymers is acetone, because it's a mild enough chemical that it doesn't damage the plastic long term. If you let polymers soak in acetone too long, it can start eating away at the plastic. So anything polymer you want to be careful with. And as soon as the paint's off and you're done with the acetone, you want to immediately get oil back onto plastic. You have a little leeway with metal, but you want to get that plastic re-oiled almost immediately so it doesn't become brittle. So this can be a tedious process, and again, it's all about how OCD or not OCD you are. I'll go ahead and this is a pretty good stopping point for now. A couple little more speck, hit this last speck, then we'll apply some oil. We'll come back in a few minutes and compare the coloration that has changed. So, and once you apply oil, if you realize you missed a spot or two, it's not a huge deal. You can reapply a little acetone over the oil in the little areas that you need, and just scrub those off, and it works well. And just re-oil those little spots. These little barrel flutes are going to be the hardest point on this gun, as you can see. You can use different brushes, different angles, but just the getting good bristle pressure on the angled surfaces or the beveled surfaces is hard. But there's a saying I like to use at some point: good enough for who it's for. And since it's mine, I think we're in that realm. So take a little needle oiler or a slip 2000. I'll put a little drizzle down each flute, and just a decent liberal coating, especially anywhere the moisture got in. And given that this is a barrel and a barrel extension, I might run a 22 bore snake through here just to make sure I get any moisture that would have got down in the barrel cleaned off, just like you do with any gun that got submerged. And just use our hand. Pause for a second and make a joke, but I'm sure my esteemed colleague enjoys the motion and the coloration of the
you do a great job.
The application of oil here. So, but it's not always about the length, man. It's about cleaning out the sides, right?
Yeah.
Got to clean out the sides of these things.
Also clear the chamber.
Of course. It's best to be firing blanks when you're engaging with this type of behavior. So, the last little thing, I'll add a little oil. There's a spring mechanism here for the takedown model 1022. So I'll add a little oil just to make sure any water or moisture that got in in the channels in there, we don't want to have any corrosion build up. So we'll just add some oil to make sure that works. And we'll let this sit, and we'll come back and look at it in a few minutes, and we'll see I'll take my rag and kind of make sure I just wipe off these mats, because the little green, the little paint will sit there, and you want to make sure you're not letting your fresh clean things sit in little specks of removed paint. But that's pretty much it for taking paint off of metal parts. The can helps with consistent flow. Always make sure you get a little off to the side so you get your flow, and then I just start on the bottom and work my way around. I support Grand Thumb in saying if you tape off your logos and serial numbers, you do lose gun rights. However, it's a cheat to not put a whole ton of cake on paint on top of your logo. So you'll notice I just hit the Stoner logo a little bit there because it is cool. Just working my way around, using lighting conditions to make sure you're able to see the paint goes on. Don't want to cake it on too thick that you get runs. Runs are always a bad thing. Then you'll notice the this has ambidextrous, so I'm just going to very gently touch these to move them to expose a little bit of a trashy look to not have your parts covered there. Take a little flathead part of my tape kind of pushed down longer than I wanted it to, so my best not to impact the painted surface, but just kind of so I'll get my hands dirty a little bit. That up. It looks like it got pretty good there anyways.
Thanks for watching.